there's a chute. I made it. Uh-oh, stop. Oh my god, that's going on YouTube.
And let's go.
Alright guys, welcome back. I am so sorry this has taken so long. Work's been kicking my butt over the past week. And so I haven't really been able to finish much. But here it is, finally, at last, the G91-Y tutorial, or guide as you might call it. But let's go ahead and just start off with the hard numbers. The stat card says 1123 kilometers an hour, and it in fact does it at sea level. But if you climb just a little bit, here I'm at 170 meters, and my top speed has dropped substantially. I'm at 1112 kilometers an hour. So that's something to really take into account when you're trying to chase against a Sabre or something that might actually be faster than you, which unfortunately is a lot of planes. While I was at it, I went ahead and tested the rip speed, and I'm pleased to report it's 1128 kilometers an hour. So I wouldn't really push much more than 1125. If you try to go into a dive at high altitudes, the second you hit Mach, it's going to go ahead and rip on you. I'm not sure if that seems completely fair, but it's what it is, so don't break Mach when you're going up high. Moving on to some gameplay footage. Talk about one thing that this plane is very good at, and that is going up. This plane has a ton of power. It may not go supersonic, but there are very few things that will actually outclimb it. Even the F100 has a hard time outclimbing it. It can, but it struggles at it. But this is just proof. I just spawned on this map. This is the air spawn map. Don't ask me why I just threw that missile off, but I wanted to get rid of him off the bat. I'm going straight up, guys. Straight up. And this F100, he's not even going that fast. He has no idea what to do. We lob a missile off, and I just continue on. Yeah. Anyways, hopefully that proves the point about how much power this aircraft has, and honestly, up is the way. Defin said it right in his video. This plane's very good at it. But it definitely had some subtle changes from when we saw it in the dev server. Dev server had combat flaps, and that definitely made it more maneuverable. We don't have those this time. All we have is landing flaps. But going into this match, this was probably one of the more difficult matches I had just because of all the F100s. And the F100 is going to be your biggest threat in this aircraft. And I think the matchmakers changed a little bit, but I have not been able to play in the last couple days, so T2s are going to be as much of a threat as the F100 is, probably more of a threat. So you do not want to turn fight with the F100 or, say, the T2. MiG-19, you can kind of get away with it, but I still don't recommend it. I don't recommend turn fighting at all on this plane, to be honest. It's not an amazing turner. But as you see, I just kind of been ignoring these F100s and getting them slow. I take a peek behind me and I see a missile pop off. Just deflect just enough so that the guy can't hit me, and we continue on. But I'm always looking around me because I know there's more coming, and here comes another one. So, I kind of bait him in a little bit. He launches another rocket. We dodge that. I'm trying not to get too caught up in him. I just want to dodge him just enough for him to overshoot, and I'm really just trying to bait him for my team right now. You'll see real quick, I cannot turn with it. You're just going to have to keep your head on a swivel and be really careful when there's an F100 behind you. But as you see, he's now very, very slow, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull away from him. So, another F100. Got a little ballsy on that head-on. Honestly, probably should have died. But, here comes another missile. We dodge it. Not a huge threat. These guys are all pretty slow. My team is cleaning them up. Did exactly as I wanted. So that worked out pretty well. Now we're sitting here at about 3,000 meters. Got the A5 in front of me. I figured I'd lob off a missile. I like to get rid of him ASAP. That's my new goal in life. But we took a couple shots. Easy kill. He wasn't really paying attention. But this goes into my next point I want to make is when you go into a dive at high speeds, you don't have a lot of elevator authority anymore. So you really need to be careful in your approaches. Do not go straight down. Give yourself room to pull out. You still have tons of aileron authority, which makes it really amazing against Sabres. But above 1,000 kilometers an hour, your elevator definitely compresses. So be careful of that, guys. I'm going to move on to another game. That one got cleaned up pretty quick. But this is generally how I fly this aircraft. I climb to about 3,000 meters at least. but anywhere between 3,000 meters and 5,000 meters. And that's because I'm not faster than everybody, so I don't want to be swarmed. But at this altitude, this thing performs very well. And what I do, like I say, is I sit up here and I prey on low energy aircraft. And this is kind of a similar flight style to, say, the C-2B if you flew it that way. This thing has tons of power, so you can always go up. This gives me plenty of room to get out of trouble. So I'm just hanging out up here. I know there's another guy off in the distance, and I'm kind of waiting for him to show up. He was right behind this MiG-19, so I'm kind of looking behind him, and I spot the dot. So I go ahead and help my teammate out here real quick, get a good approach on him, and he lights up. Set up for a nice broadside, and he's deleted. Just like that. It works pretty good, guys. These guns, these are the DEFA 5.52 cannons. They're very similar to the Aidens that you used to in the Hunter, or if you fly the Javelin. Yeah, we won't talk about that plane right now, but like I say, sitting up here, I'm at 3,500 meters still, got plenty of speed. I'm just going to work on these guys. And this F100, it's a night map. He doesn't see me coming. Even if it's a day map, he probably wouldn't see me coming. He's going up, low energy state, not much you can do. And he's gone. And you just repeat the cycle over and over until, you know, your team's going to get wiped, or their team's going to get wiped pretty quick. But up here, it's perfect for this aircraft. It does very well. So we're going to do the same thing. We see this F86 down on the deck. I start my approach on him. Come in with a lot of speed. I look and I see another dot. Look at this. It's another low energy aircraft going straight up. Not much he can do. Doesn't even see me coming. Just like that, it's another one. And this is a night map, so obviously people are not going to see me as well. But the same strategy, like I say, it works quite well on daytime maps. Spotting another dot, I think he sees me, so we take a quick shot and pull off. And dodge his bullets, and then turn in. And you can see very quickly that this just does not work in this aircraft. So again, don't get caught up. I stick with him a little bit. And teammate helps me out and gets rid of him. And that's pretty much the end of this game. There's like one left in the distance, but we're going to go ahead and move on to another game. So this time we're on Korea. I've already killed one F100 that was pulling up in front of me. Again, that tactic works very well. I'm starting at 3,000 meters. I'm coming on down. I've picked my target. Been eyeballing this F86. Kind of want to get him out of the game. Figure I could probably get a shot. Roll rate's great, but the elevator is not there. So we go ahead and continue on. Couldn't get the shot. And then I look, there's another F100 behind me. Typical scenario. Well, I'm not going to be able to outrun him. Here comes his first missile. Right on past me. I'm going to go ahead and draw him out a little bit away from the pack. Definitely don't want to get caught slow trying to reverse this guy and then possibly get attacked when I'm not prepared to defend myself. So draw him out a little bit. He's getting closer. Here comes the next missile. Go into a turn. This will force him to bleed a lot of energy. We go vertical and bait him up for my teammates who's right behind him. And right about that time I see another Valtour. Sadly, Valtour is mildly a threat in this aircraft because it does not turn very well. You can still outturn him, you just got to be careful. But we follow him vertical. Getting a little bit slow, but I decide I'm fairly safe. So the F100's been occupied. We go ahead and lob a missile at him. The Valtour is so slow he cannot dodge that. And we got rid of him. There's really not a lot to fly in this plane, guys. I'm going to say that it's not OP, like everybody says it is. But unfortunately, right now, it's combined on the Axis team with the CL Mark 6, the T2. All these aircraft that have come out in this patch are all on the Axis teams. And unfortunately, it's really made for some unbalanced gameplay. Lately, I've heard the matchmakers changed a little bit, so we're doing more mixed matches. And that kind of just takes away from the advantage that this aircraft has. If you're fighting against another G91-Y, it's just going to come down to pilot skills. But hopefully when the next patch comes out, there'll be a little bit more to counter these aircraft that we have on the Axis teams. Hopefully Allied will get a little bit better aircraft. Maybe the F100 will get even more of a buff. But as of making this video, it's still a very good aircraft. I still prefer it over all the aircraft that have come out in this patch. It's quite forgiving. Just don't get below 500 kilometers an hour. Don't try to stall fight the supersonics, because if you get slow in front of them and they fire a missile off at you, it's going to get you. You just don't have enough maneuverability at slow speeds. But, woo, that one tickled my butthole a little bit. Did you guys see that? Lastly, though, I just want to put out there that I know the matchmakers changed a little bit. I did not encounter a lot of T2s when I played this aircraft, and I have not had a lot of time to play. The T2 should not be that much different of an enemy to fight against compared to the F100, so I apologize I don't have any footage, guys, but we will cover that probably later. Just really had to get something out there for you guys. Anywho, I use 500 meter convergence, no vertical. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you liked the video, if you felt like you learned something, please give me a thumbs up. Your support is what helps me continue on. And if you haven't done it already, please click the subscribe button and you'll get more of this great footage. Next coming up, we'll be doing a little bit of F2 footage. I've already got that video ready for you guys. And then shortly after that, we'll be doing some Matchmaking 7. And then somewhere in the near distant future will be the Super Mystere. We'll go ahead and subject ourselves to a little bit of pain for that one. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We will see you around in the next video.